Okay. Number two, I got cut off there. So I was talking about the kind of woman. It's all the focus is on the modern woman. So she may actually not be that stereotypical housewife. She doesn't look like the stereotypical housewife, actually. But we will again come back to that in your next bit. Now I just need to get this. Okay, so yeah, you need to be a little bit more specific about the differences between the 1950s and now. So women were stereotypically stay-at-home housewives, but the 1950s ad is probably actually really quite out there for the time because it's targeting this idea of the modern woman. She doesn't look like the stereotypical housewife. She looks like she's an independent woman. Perhaps she has her own job. She looks quite sophisticated. So I think you need to show your understanding of that. And then the same now, social context. I think you need to be looking at, yes, that's where you show your understanding of the issue of obesity and diabetes in society. So Pepsi and its rivals have been focusing on diet or low sugar brands in order to address, well, to maintain market share despite the negative publicity. Right, so language features. What do you mean Pepsi's an expert when displaying their key objective through language choices? What you're saying is the advertising creatives have used persuasive language choices in order to convey their key message, which is about what it is to be the modern woman. Now, you need to make sure that you've addressed what interest or desire each advertisement is appealing to. Again, that's the handout that I gave you, which was the print of the slide from the PowerPoint. Now, specialist in command language. I don't think it is command language. It's all about, it's using direct address in the form of you. It's to engage with the target audience on a personal level. It's as though that woman, the model in the advertisement, is the epitome of all that the modern woman is. So this is about aspiration. It's about attitude. You'll be the epitome of the modern woman if you drink Pepsi. It's using, I think, simple, colloquial, but quite authoritative language. Men will like you better. So that's high modality words. It's this idea of cause and effect. If you choose to drink Pepsi, then you will be the modern woman. So you need to look and do a little bit, much more analysis of the language that they use with a bit more evidence to back you up. So when you say persuades the viewer, we're talking about the consumer or the target audience to believe they could be the perfect woman that men like better. We'll actually quote from the advertisement, Charlie, to persuade them that men will like you better. So you need to do more work on that. You need to be more structured. Now, when you say that the 2015 ad contains no jargon, you're confusing jargon with language. Jargon is specific information about the product, or maybe that's what you mean, but I don't think you need to say that. What this advertisement reflects is that it reflects the development and the change in advertising techniques and in the consumer. There isn't, so they don't use a lot of text, because this is more about, again, if you look at the form, the 1950s ad was in a magazine, so the women reading it, the women would have had time to read the text that is the language that is on the advertisement, whereas the Sofia Vergara ad is probably, as you said, bus shelters and posters. So it's not got a lot of language, because if you're flashing by in a car or the bus, or you're just walking past in the mall, you're not going to stand and read the advertisement. So it's got to grab the consumer's attention in a very short period of time. It's a matter of seconds. So show your understanding of that. So it uses very short, forceful phrases. Love every sip. Very simple, very easy. You can read it in a second. So it will convey that in the shortest possible time. Now, you seem to keep thinking that it's about love. I don't think it is. It's about loving Pepsi. So it's about the value that it's appealing to here is satisfaction. It's delicious. So you're going to love every sip you take. So again, make that clear, Charlie. Both advertisements display these slogans with a respectable font. Just double check whether is this one a respectable font. This is a much, well, look at the way that they've turned the O of love into it sort of reflects the Pepsi stripe, doesn't it? I think you need to be, it's a sort of very modern font, typeface, isn't it? Capital letters, Y. That is conveying a certain amount of strength, isn't it? It's not in doubt that you're going to love every sip. You didn't address this language at the bottom. Share the love with Sofia Vergara at dietpepsi.com. You need to do that. So you need to do more work on your language features. And when you say that it's a majority text, it's not. The 1950s one, it's carefully balanced so that you have if you think about the rule of thirds, the way that the space is taken up, but the woman is still the focal point. So more analysis needed. Visual elements. You need to do a lot more work here, Charlotte. You need 3 to 4 visual elements. So you take your topic sentence. Both advertisers have used beauty and celebrity to convey or create to evoke the idea of sex appeal in their target audience. And then you say the 1950s advertisement has used a model, an image of a model, of a good-looking model with high social standing, to link the product with this person's good reputation or attractiveness. And they're using, it's all on the Elements of Visual Language handout. It's using this model which reflects that society's ideals of beauty so the connection makes the product appear more attractive. So you haven't actually said any of that. And then you say, while that has used a model, the modern advertisement has used celebrity, a very famous, sexy. She's known for her South American sex appeal, to endorse the product. And it's everything that Sofia Vergara is. You need to show your understanding of that. You haven't talked at all about the body language. So how have they been positioned? I think actually, if I look back at this one, the way that she's sort of the curves and everything, I think they actually reflect the Pepsi stripe. If you look at the Pepsi stripe here, they've sort of reinforced that with the body, the pose that they've put her in. You talk about dull colours with this Pepsi ad. Well, actually, it's not dull. Black, if you look at the resource that I put on Sector, black is associated with sophistication and luxury. So, and if you look again down here, they've obviously changed the colours of the Pepsi branding, because it seems that black used to be part of the colour, whereas here it's been changed to blue. So the black of the model's costume actually reinforces the black of the brand colours. Look at her black hair and the red lipstick. It's the red and the black, and she's got white teeth. This is all about brand reinforcement. Similarly, the blue of her costume is all about reinforcing the blue of the Pepsi brand, and that's repeated here. And again, they've used the colour of her lipstick is the exact match of the Pepsi brand. So you need to be looking at that visual elements handout and really having to work on that visual elements analysis, Charlie, because there's not nearly enough. You need to have another look at the examples that were attached to that handout, with examples of how to explain the effect. And you need to be making sure that you're using that technical language: beauty, celebrity, body language, camera shots and angles, foreground, background, sight lines, color and lighting, special effects. So you need to look at how the modern ad has used special effects, because it's all special effects, isn't it, with the bubbles? You've got that the bubbles are the Pepsi bubbles, but you haven't said that they've used special effects in order to create that. So more work needed there. Conclusion. Well, you say that the most the effective ad is the print, the 2015. I think you need to make it clear that you are probably one of the main target audiences of this ad, and that you find it very successful. Don't use I, but as a generation of this generation, you just need to very short and concise. It might be a bit repetitive, but you have to say what is the most effective aspect of that advertisement? Why does it make it so successful? Your editing here is confusing. This is a reflective comparison of technology advancement and boost of malnourishment knowledge in society today, in which overall enhances the value and purpose of print media for Pepsi. Charlie, I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. So in your conclusion, keep it short and sweet. Evaluate which ad, in your perspective, from your point of view, is the most successful. Don't use I, but you might need to show understanding that it would be that second one, because you are you are living in that era, you understand, you know Sofia Vergara, and because you know the eye-catching and the .com aspect, the social media aspect, you understand, and therefore it's successful. Right, so quite a lot to do, Charlie, so happy drafting.